So my name is JB Chong. I'm originally from South Korea. And if I had to spell my name full, I think you would have 30 minutes just to understand the pronunciation of it. So I just abbreviated by JB. I'm part of the what we call the European Task Force for Field Service. I'm leading up that team. And so thank you for attending this room. Hopefully, we will have an extension of another 15 minutes just to finalize my presentation. So what I wanted to talk about today with you is just to give you a brief overview of the market trends, go a bit deeper into the Dynamics 365 and especially the Dynamics Connected Field Service piece. I'm going to give you a demo, and if we have enough time left, I'm going to talk to you about Centrica. So going a bit into the market trends, I'm going to talk to you about a report that Gartner released quite recently. So it was mid 2018 when they released it. And in this report, they are talking about the major trends of field service, but also the critical capabilities that are required to design your field service management. So the first trend over here in 2020, as you know, it's not far away. We are already in 2019, but still referring to the 2020 vision, I think 70% of all service companies will cite customer satisfaction as the lead leverage to optimize your field service management. That means it's a shift from a concept where field service is primarily dominated by efficiency, operations, increasing of it, into a concept where field service is primarily being utilized to improve customer satisfaction. So Gartner is really saying more and more managers are seeing potential for upsell and cross-sell revenues on top of increasing the optimization of the operations. So the second one is by 2020, 10% of all field service work orders, or however you call it, will be triaged by artificial intelligence. In other words, a lot of the incidents that come in, service requests that come in, that invoke field service requests will come from IoT, and scheduling of all that work and the triaging of all that work will happen through artificial intelligence or predictions, however you want to call it. Another trend here, and I happened to talk to one of the customers yesterday, is the trend that more and more work is being carried out by non-employees. So meaning you need to treat all the external third-party contractors as part of their own organization, and that has implications on scheduling and planning of that work. And not only that, you also need to make sure that that all these non-employees can utilize the same rich functionalities that your internal people are using. The last one is 75, more than 75%, and I don't think that's going to be new to you, is really not only providing the field service technicians with simple data capturing capabilities, but enriched with, for instance, artificial intelligence, augmented reality. But more and more nowadays, field service technicians are your best salespeople out in the field. So you need to provide them capabilities for sales as well. So having seen this, and I see a couple of people want to make photographs. So am I okay to go to the next screen? Yeah. So having seen all these trends that Gartner recognized, it really is quite similar to our vision of the connected worker in the future. So what you see over here, this is our future connected worker. He will be aided by connected devices for remote collaboration, and aided by robotics and drones to enable like the remote inspections, the remote repairs, etc. Receiving sensors to keep track on his health condition, but also to fetch all the IoT data that is coming in. And of course, analytics is becoming more and more important. So going into the Dynamics atmosphere, who of you knows Dynamics already? Oh wow, I can't lie to you then today. So traditionally, CRM and ERP were quite separated silos. Those were silos where, and I think it's still the case. But what if you took, for instance, a business process starting from an order intake all the way up to billing? You usually know it involves a couple of systems. You need a lot of interfaces, etc. So what we made a paradigm shift. We married those two environments under one hood, under one label, and basically what we did is we appified. So the modern trend nowadays is not to provide you with one big monolithic system, but to appify our Dynamics 365 platform with a sales module, with a customer service module, field service, and we will dive into this one in a bit. Also from finance and operations. But not only did we bring back the two environments and appified the system, we also brought it more closer to our analytics stack. Any one of you familiar with Azure? Azure, yeah. So all that richness in Azure Analytics and the IoT platform is very, very relevant for IoT. So we basically glue them together. Over here, you see Office 365. I think everyone knows Office 365, but it's also the collaboration platform within Office, because every field technician or every salespeople for that matter, not only do they make part of a efficient business process, they need to collaborate together. So elements like Teams and Skype, etc., is all embedded into the Dynamics 365 platform. Of course, we won't forget that most of you, you already have an existing environment, so we try to make it easier for Dynamics 365 to connect and glue with your external back office systems, or create your own customized apps, and through the use of Microsoft Flow is really the enterprise workflow system. And not forgetting, when you use your iPhone, your Samsung, you will have an app source where the community enriches the platform. So that will be provided as well. So if we then dive into field service, what is basically field service? And I know this is a very black and white, simple definition, but it's really scheduling and dispatching of technicians or inspectors based on the service contract or on an incident, making sure they have the right spare parts, they have the right instructions, equipped with a rich mobile client, and not to forget, IoT nowadays is more and more becoming the part of those incidents. So our field service solutions really covers managing the demand, managing the work, engaging the customer, and enabling the technician. So on the demand, we said more and more IoT is becoming part of it. If you look at plan and work, and I think the example that I mentioned yesterday, where more and more external subcontractors are working for, I think that's where this part is good for, enabling technicians with mixed reality, remote assistance, bots, etc. So it's covering the whole, let's say, the life cycle of a field service technician and its planners. Now, if we then see, as we know, IoT is becoming more and more important for field service. So we basically, what we did is we married together the Azure IoT piece and Dynamics for Field Service, and released what we call the Connected Field Service. So this is a ready-made app that you can download from App Source, just to combine IoT and Dynamics for Field Service. Any questions for now? Now, so then I will carry on with the demo. The demo that I'm going to do for you is circling around these personas. You have the customer, you've got the planner, or the one who does the schedule and the dispatch, and you've got the actual technician. So I'm going to change some screens, and I hope the resolution is helping me here. I'm getting a call from someone in Portugal. Is anyone in the room? No? Okay, so All right, there we go. So what you see here is basically a dashboard of an operations manager. So this operations manager is globally managing facilities, and well, every time he comes into the office, he looks at this dashboard and he immediately sees where are the anomalies, like with the red dots over here. He can also see what are the incidents of the facility. So understand, in this facility, there are HVAC units like heaters, etc., boilers, etc., that he is constantly monitoring. So over here, he sees a list of incidents. He sees the current state of the weather, etc., and some other metrics. But let's dive into Seattle, for instance, here. In Seattle, there is a critical situation, and it seems to be an HVAC unit in this building. It is called the Northwest Tower. Some information about this facility, but my dashboard is showing me, and these are all IoT alerts that are coming in. So if I click on the actual device that is showing problems, I can see over there, there is a red dot. So in this case, and this is where Dynamics 365 and Azure are being married up, is that a incident or a work order is being created automatically. Just for the sake of making it more clear for you, I'm doing it manually. So I schedule a maintenance. And when scheduling the maintenance, I can tick some boxes, but eventually the one that takes, so the case representative that takes the IoT alert in, he has his own dashboard. So this is Dynamics 365 environment. So what he sees here, again, a couple of dashboards, a whole list of alerts that came in. I can look by asset. And I have to excuse myself. The internet here is really, really slow. It's not, it's not the environment, okay? I realize I just made a mistake just by selecting another option. But over here, there is an dashboard, and as the case representative, I am having a look at all the IoT alerts that came in. Let's take this one. So there is a temperature reading of this device which exceeded the threshold of 27 degrees. In fact, it's 45 degrees. Over here, he goes into the details of the IoT alert. What I can do, I can scroll down and I see, oh, okay, it's the boiler control unit. So I hope internet is helping me. Come on, come on. I see some details, and really what's interesting is, for instance, what is the hierarchy? How is this HVAC unit connected to the whole environment? Come on, come on, come on. This is the last time I'm going to click something, okay? And here you see an overview. So this unit is broke in Seattle, in the Northwest Tower, and I see, okay, this is part of a bigger unit, which is called the universal steam boiler. So when I know that, I create a case, and usually, ideally, in a connected field service scenario, these alerts and these cases are being created automatically. But just to show you how everything looks, I'm doing it manually. So looking at the case, I am the case representative. I didn't schedule the technician yet. I'm just trying to do some remote control so that I don't have to send out the service technician. So over here, if I go back here, I can basically see an overview of commands. So I'm trying to send a command back to the machine saying, look, reset the whole thing. And if that all is not working, I just told that I wouldn't click anyone. But here are a set of commands that I can send back to the machine. And the beauty of it is a typical IoT alert is quite gibberish. It's not easy for us to read. Dynamics 365 translates it into human readable language. So I see an overview of all the commands that I can send back to the machine. But I'm gonna create that case. Is this good to see for you guys? I'm gonna try to make it smaller. So first of all, what you see on top is a business process of an IoT alert coming in, cases created, then we are on the verge of creating a work order here. But looking at the case, based on the service contract that I have with this company, I have an SLA of currently 4 days left. It needs to be handled within 5 days. I can see some case details. And over here in the middle, you'll see a pane where you can include your Yammer post, your Skype messages, but also I can say, okay, I want to let people know that I'm working on it and I'm putting in a note. So here is a communication or collaboration pane that you see. Another element that is quite interesting, if I look into this case, are there any related case or are there any child cases or cases that emerged? So the customer service representative sees everything in one overview. He sees an overview of all the SLAs that are on this asset. But he finds out we actually need to send out the technician just to repair this HVAC unit. So he creates a work order. And on a work order, what is quite relevant, next to all the general information, I think the most crucial element of a work order is the incident type, because the incident type really tells him, okay, this is a broken HVAC unit, you need to go out and repair it, or you need to reset it, or whatsoever. These are the service tasks that it belongs to this activity, and it also basically shows, okay, what is the overview of the products that you need to bring with you just to replace all the parts. Another element that you see over here is again the collaboration pane over here, but I think it's quite interesting to know what are the individual service tasks for this work order. Okay. Here is an overview of all the elements. So the technician who eventually gets dispatched and goes out, he sees an overview of these service tasks. Okay, so I created the work order. I'm going to send it. I'm going to schedule it now. So over here you see a Gantt chart with the scheduling board, and as you can see in the background, I have activated the automation element to fill the whole calendar. You see an overview of the service technicians, of all the work orders that are spread across Europe. And if I click here, for instance, I can see all his skills, an overview of his skills. If I go to the work order, I can see what the status is of the work order. See, the status is over here, and so on. So what I can then do, this is an automated way of filling this schedule board based on intelligence, based on algorithms in the background. But I can also say, okay, I want to do it semi-automatic. So then I start by selecting some of these criteria over here. What kind of roles do I need? Do I need someone who is specialized in installations, or do I need someone who is specialized in repairing stuff, or do I need anyone else? I can select based on the role and based on the territory, etc. It gives me these technicians. Over here, below here, you see a list of unscheduled work orders, and if I fetched one, I can go and say, okay, find availability. And it starts looking, and again, apparently, for an unscheduled work order, if I ask the system to find availability, he is finding space on Monday, 25 of February, including travel time, etc. But what I can also do is, if I have the schedule board, I can manually drag and drop. Come on. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so the question here is, based on the travel time that is showing here, is that travel time defined based on the map or based on a specific hard-coded rule? Is that what your question is? So